This is a Glendale Library Arts and Culture program created for and featuring teens, edited and hosted by the Teen Library staff.
Hi everyone, this is Melissa and Desiree isn't here today. Today's special co-host is our very own teen librarian, Mike Whitehead.
Thank you, Melissa. So today's guest is an American Society for Clinical Pathology, or ASCP, and CA state licensed cytogenetics scientist who currently works for the City of Hope. His lab focuses solely on cancer patients.
Grab a snack and drink, and let's welcome Alec Carmichael to Teen Gen Talks. Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
Yes. So let's get right into the interview. So, Alex, science has been a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
Have you always been interested in science?
Actually, yeah, I have ever since I was a little kid in elementary school. It's just something that always interested me, and then my aunt actually got me really into it as well. She was taking a lot of science courses at Cal State Long Beach, and then kind of started introducing to us that as kids, and bought a microscope for me and my brother, and from there it just kind of took off.
So what are some memories related to science that have stuck with you through your teenage years?
Ooh, I would say it was just as when we were like little kids, kind of just going out to we go out to like Joshua Tree and go to Big Bear, and it was kind of more like the wildlife stuff that when I was a little kid really interested in, which was pretty normal with all little kids, right? But I think that was the introduction that kind of got me interested, and it was when I was younger watching maybe you're familiar with Steve Irwin, right? The Crocodile Hunter. Yeah.
Oh yes.
I think he owes a little bit to keeping me interested in the whole science field, and even though I'm not working with animals, it's still, I think it all leads together. Biology is all related.
Right. Yeah, he was a huge figure and growing up for me as well.
That's right. You're Australian.
Yeah. I didn't realize how big he was in America until a bit later on.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
What subject should a teen focus on if they want to follow your career path or a similar path?
So what I do in cytogenetics, we're actually kind of under the umbrella of clinical laboratory science, so CLS for short. So anything in biology you can pursue, and then from there you can pursue your CLS license to work inside of a laboratory. But if you specifically want to do cytogenetics, I think it's beneficial to obviously focus on genetics and molecular biology when you go into college. Courses like that would really make a big difference and kind of with your career path.
So what were some of your favorite subjects in high school? And were you also part of any clubs?
Ooh, in high school, absolutely biology. I was never really like a big chemistry person, but I do have a degree in chemistry as well. So like I said, all science is related somehow. As for clubs, it was mostly just very busy playing soccer. Takes up a lot of time, but and I, 100% worth it.
So where did you go to college?
I went local where I live now, Cal State Long Beach. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it living around here too, right? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So how well did Cal State Long Beach prepare you for your scientific endeavors?
I think they did a perfect job, obviously, because I have my career now. And even when I was there, I mean, they were putting so much money into the science program and putting in. I mean, from what I understand, they have brand new buildings there now, with better technology. And, almost looks like a hospital walking through some of them, is what I've been told. So, but they were just working on those when I graduated. So it would be nice to go back and take a look at it and kind of see what's changed over the years. And I'm sure with those changes, things are even better for the students now that are over there for the science program.
Were there some courses that were more useful than other courses?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the courses I wish I didn't have to take, but I'm not a big fan of the organic chemistry, which is kind of hard to describe. It's a lot of putting puzzles together and figuring out how molecules are working together. I don't really use that at all, so it was kind of weird. The courses that are really useful were my molecular biology courses and genetics as well, obviously. Those have had a big impact, and those are things that I still use today at work. Some of the concepts that I've learned. So, and you would never think about it, but come into play later on. So,
When did you always know that you wanted to be a scientist?
I would actually say I took that route probably be my second year of high school. I knew I wanted to do something with medical science. I know I did not want to be a doctor. I knew that. I don't really like the whole one-on-one working with people type, like patients type thing.
Right.
But I knew I wanted to focus more on the science aspect of the medical field. So my grandfather, he was a Scottish immigrant. So just want to throw that story out there. But he was unfortunately diagnosed with multiple myeloma when I was a sophomore in high school. And from there, I started becoming really interested in, okay, well, how are they treating him? What is cancer, right? What is cancer? What is chemo? And at that time, bone marrow transplants were starting to come out, and that was a new procedure we could use now. And now today, it's very common to use that to treat patients. From there, I started becoming really interested in that, kind of talking to the doctors that he had, like, going and donating blood and my platelets for him, and kind of say, oh, how do you guys figure this out? So then they kind of tell you, okay, well, you can take college courses, you can work in a lab, you can get a license, you can do this, you can be a pathologist. I think that at that point, I kind of made the decision that this is kind of what I want to pursue.
So I found science daunting in high school, particularly chemistry. And as a consequence, I probably didn't give it the attention it deserved.
Mhm.
Do you think a lot of young people have this idea that they aren't suited for science because they're not smart enough for it? And what is some advice you would tell those kids?
Yeah, I think a lot of people look at it and they're kind of intimidated by some sciences a little bit, right? You kind of look at it and you're like, whoa, what is this? So I think it's okay. Everybody starts somewhere, right? Just because you start at a certain point doesn't mean that's where you have to end. And I have courses that I really struggled through too. Like organic chemistry and even just chemistry courses in general. Even though I got a minor in it, I don't know. It's hard to describe. You just have to stick with it and just be determined. I think. Yeah. Everybody learns different, right? So
in your bio, you mentioned you're a cytogenetics scientist. Wow. Can you explain to the viewers how at home what exactly is it?
Okay, I think I could break it down as simple as I can. Cytogenetics, like in basic definition, is study of chromosomes. So if you don't know what chromosomes are, it's the structure within that your DNA is wrapped around. So DNA is in your cells, wrapped around something called a histone. And when it wraps around these histones, it creates a structure called the chromosome. And your chromosomes are what make you, or me, or dog a dog. And so we humans have 23 pairs. So chromosomes 1 through 22 have a pair, and they're all separated by size and how the bands are on them, and I can explain that too. And then we have an X and a Y. So females have an X and an X, and then we males have an X and a Y. And what we can do in my lab is we have a way of taking a patient sample, culturing the cells from that sample, specifically the white blood cells, because in my lab we're looking for cancer. We are going to culture those cells in a special flask in an incubator for several days. Then we're going to harvest the cells. So we're going to suspend them in part of cell division called metaphase, and that's when all the chromosomes they're all lined up, almost lined up perfect. And then we are going to go through a whole process of harvesting those cells, bursting them open. We're going to put them on a slide, and then I can use a special procedure, something called GIMSA, which stains that slide. And then under that slide, I can look at it on the microscope, take pictures, and we can cut the chromosomes out using a digital program, sort of like a Photoshop type thing where you can cut things out. Then we're going to line them up, and then we can look at them and hopefully give the doctor a diagnosis. So that's kind of cytogenetics in a short explanation. There's a lot more involved that we do within the lab, and a lot of new things that are coming out too, new technology that's helping us out. I do recommend maybe looking up, if anybody's interested, just go onto Google, look up karyotype. And that'll give you a picture of what what the chromosomes look like when I line them up. So a karyotype is what I look at.
Yeah, I had no idea when I first heard that term, cytogenetics. I thought first thing that came to mind was Skynet,
Oh,
thinking like putting together cyborgs of human tissue on the outside.
Yep, yep.
Then I looked at it. That was my initial
As long as
thought.
Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't show up or something, right? We're okay.
So what about cytogenetics that piqued your interest? And how did you know this was something you really wanted to do as a career?
So when I was kind of going through the path of figuring out, okay, I want to work in medical science. I want to work in a lab. I really like the lab work aspect of things. And it was kind of just when I was in college and my grandfather was still going through treatment. He survived up until my last year of college, actually. And unfortunately, he passed away. And it was kind of talking to his doctors going, okay, what are they doing in the lab to figure this out? So he's like, started doing my own research a little, like, okay, well, I need to get a license for this after I graduate. So that's what just kind of doing some research on my own kind of led me to cytogenetics. It's a very small group within clinical laboratory science.
Mhm.
I'm lucky enough to work at a hospital where we have our own dedicated lab on campus. A lot of stuff at your other hospitals might be sent away to a different laboratory, but it was kind of just reading up a lot, learning about it. Got me really interested in figuring out, okay, well, this is how we can help the doctors figure out what's going on with the patient. Yeah, I think that's kind of what led me to that specific career path. I think a lot of personal research, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have quite a few credentials, like being a member of American Society for Clinical Pathology, or ASCP, and you're a California state licensed cytogenetic scientist. How important is it to have those credentials for doing what you do?
You 100% have to have those credentials to do what I do. And part of it is the state license. You have to apply for that. ASCP oversees our certification, and they basically do it for all pathologists and laboratory professionals. And that involves you could either go after you graduate with your bachelor's in science, you could go back to school. Some schools do have programs to help you get licensed, or you could go the route where you can pursue find a workplace that will help train you. And from then it takes about 2 years of training, taking online courses, learning all the different techniques that are involved in cytogenetics. And then you can apply to take the state exam through ASCP, and you go and take I believe the exam is about 2 to 3 hours long, and you have to score 70%, I believe, and then you qualify to get your license. And ASCP is still involved with me today. I have to renew my license every 3 years with ASCP, and that involves continuing education. So every 3 years, I have to have 36 hours of education. So that could be either through watching online videos or doing quizzes or some reading material. And I submit that every 3 years and renew my license. So it's absolutely 100% required.
So in your bio, you work for the City of Hope.
Yeah, I work at City of Hope Hospital. I work at the main campus, which is in Duarte.
And how did you get into cancer treatment?
I think the main thing was, part of it was that bone marrow transplant I mentioned, which was what my grandfather did. And that's, I learned that City of Hope was one of the first places to ever do that, actually. So it was kind of interesting to learn that when I was working there. And, you can actually become a donor yourself, even though you just do a little cheek swab, send that in, and maybe you're a match for somebody.
What is your favorite part about working at a lab?
Part of it, I like the hands-on stuff, and it is kind of more of like a team environment rather than being just like lone by yourself type of thing.
What have you learned from working at the City of Hope?
So the field's changing pretty. I mean, a lot of new technology keeps coming out. So what have I learned specifically? I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot more about the different types of cancers that are out there, and how they affect a wide range of people. It doesn't just affect older people. It could affect anybody of all ages. I've seen, unfortunately, at the hospital, I do see kids walking around sometimes on treatment, and you kind of learn how it really impacts people and families. It's not just something you read about on a piece of paper anymore. It's seeing the patients actually walking around the hospital. I think kind of teaches me a little, makes me a little bit more respectful of like what they're going through. And when I look at a folder of a patient, knowing that that's an actual person, so you can kind of relate it to the person a little bit easier.
Do you have any advice about time management based on your experiences?
Yeah, my lab is very busy right now, actually. I'm lucky to be off this week, but I would say break things down one by one. Then looking at, I could look at like, okay, today I have we have so many patients today, and we're running around in the lab. We're trying to figure stuff out. We have people on microscopes. We have people in the lab. We have people harvesting the samples, people dropping the slides. Well, if you could approach it just one thing at a time, it makes things a lot easier. So even if you have to write it out on a piece of paper, okay, by priority, this is what we're doing. And that's actually what my lab does. So when we know we have so many patients, we're going to write down the priority based on what type of cancer they have. And if the doctor says, I really need this patient's results, we can get a list going and say, okay, let's break these down by order of importance and get it done, rather than just looking at a big picture.
Right.
So kind of have to look at it. Yeah, kind of have to put like tunnel vision on a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
How has COVID-19 affected your work at City of Hope?
Oh,
Pandemic.
it's still weird. So I feel like we were actually a couple weeks ahead of things with the whole lockdown stuff going into effect, because we started kind of hearing rumors of what was going on in China at the time. And we're like, oh, okay, okay, let's keep an eye on it. And then we started hearing, okay, well, it's here now. And one day we come into work and they say, okay, big meeting. Starting tomorrow, everybody has to wear masks coming into work. They're setting up checkpoints. We get our temperature taken. I have to answer several questions every day to get inside the hospital, into my workplace. We started. It's been odd. It's just been odd. I don't know how else to describe it. Everybody's going through it, but especially at the hospital, it's been weird. And I know they do limit, as other hospitals do limit, seeing how many patients come in and stuff like that. The whole situation is odd, right? So,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But my lab has been able to continue on doing things as we normally do, just with a mask on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really random. Is it hard to work with a mask on?
Or
is it,
To me, it's hard because I don't know. I feel like I'm like breathing in all day, like my own like air. But I guess you get used to it.
Yeah.
Are there any downsides of being a scientist?
You can be very busy.
Yeah.
Especially when our lab is really busy and maybe we're on some overtime and you have to go in for some extra hours. You just have to anticipate that sometimes. Sometimes you do have to work on the weekend if especially if we're really busy. But I think the rewards outweigh any of the cons, right? So that's my opinion. Yeah.
Yes. So before we end, we have some rapid fire questions to ask you.
All right,
Alex. So first is, what's your favorite color?
Oh, blue.
Blue.
Yeah.
What's a misconception about scientists?
When people see scientists, they just think about like the crazy guy with like the big poofy hair, right, on TV, or think about Albert Einstein or something, or the guy from Back to the Future, right? Yeah, we don't all look like that.
What's something that you've been proud to say you've accomplished?
I'll be the first one in my family to get a college degree.
What is some advice that you wish you would have known when you were younger?
That's a tough question. So I should have known you were going to throw a tough question at me, right? Some advice that I would give myself when I was younger. But it's it is. I have 2 kids now, so I kind of have to think about this question a little bit. What advice would I give her is to, when she does get frustrated with things and things aren't going her way, and you just want to give up. You're like, oh, I just don't want to do this anymore, and whether it's a hard class or anything, right? Just stick with it. Stick with it. It gets easier, and it really does.
Yeah, I wish I took that on myself sometimes in high school when I gave up on things much too quickly.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like for soccer, for instance, I gave that up.
Yep.
So have you picked up any hobbies during quarantine?
playing Mario Kart with my daughter. I mean, she's become a Mario Kart addict, so I guess we play whenever we can. It's hard. I still play soccer, so it's been really hard not to be able to do that on the weekends and play with my friends. So yeah, it's a little bit different, but we'll get back to it.
I was a Mario Kart fiend as well.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up, loved it. Nintendo 64 was my jam.
Oh yeah. Yep. We've been playing that Switch one, so and I don't go easy on her. So
Do you have any advice for anyone struggling during quarantine?
call your friends, your family, talk to them. I mean, that's what's gotten us through this whole thing. Find a hobby that you like. Find something that you're really interested in. Yeah, and I really hope we're at the tail end of this thing. So
Yeah.
there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
Yes. What's your favorite dish to cook?
Ooh, probably the easiest dish you could cook. Pasta, of course.
Pasta.
Yeah.
Mac and cheese, she's close.
So we just heard your dog bark, but do you have any pets? Really?
Oh, see, when you're a biology person or a science person, usually you have a lot of pets. So we have 2 dogs, we have a cat, we have a gecko, a leopard gecko, we have some frogs, and we have a dwarf bunny in the backyard as well.
Oh.
Yep. It's a zoo.
Yes. Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
3 words? Oh, you're gonna make it hard. Oh man, this is the hardest question yet.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Words, huh? I could say that I was determined. I could say that with some confidence. Sometimes a little goofy, right? We all are when we're in high school. I think that describes everybody.
What is the last album that you bought?
Ooh, see, I switched over to the Amazon Music stuff, so now I just play whatever I want. So honestly, I can't remember.
Yeah, neither can I.
Years ago, yeah.
I can remember the first one I bought.
Oh, so could I. Yeah, I can remember the.
So what was
What
your
is it
first
though?
album
Is
that
it
you bought?
embarrassing? Oh, what's yours? You go first here.
I think mine was like a Backstreet Boys or NSYNC album.
yeah.
Or Britney Spears.
It was a Prince album. Like
Oh, really?
3121. Because I was into Prince big time.
All right.
Teen.
Yeah.
It's just unusual. My friends made fun of me for it. But,
I remember going out with my brother. We thought we were so cool. We bought the Men in Black album for the original. Yeah, just because we liked the one song. That's basically it.
I dressed up in my dad's suit with my cousin, and I did a performance in front of my family, the Men in Black song.
Do you know the song too? Yep.
Oh yeah. And my brother yelled at me because he didn't want me damaging my dad's suit.
Oh, yeah.
So he kind of dampened that whole performance.
Yep.
Anyway. So are you a morning person or a night owl?
Oh, I prefer nights now. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
Oh, I would fly. That way I could skip all the traffic going to work.
Yeah. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Someone who's kind of a procrastinator, I guess. Keeps putting things off. I guess that's something that kind of annoys me sometimes.
So if you could have 3 people dead or alive for dinner, who would it be?
Ooh, I'd have to go with I'll go with Abraham Lincoln. We'll go with William Wallace, Mr. Braveheart himself, and I'd probably invite Robin Williams over too.
First celebrity crush.
Ooh, probably Britney Spears.
All right.
Maybe not so much anymore, but back then in high school. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Your recent celebrity crush.
I'll make sure my wife's not listening. So I'm just joking. Most recent, I would say probably Megan Fox from those early Transformer movies.
Oh
yeah. I don't know what movie she's in anymore, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that was every college guy's dream when I was in
Right.
college.
If you could visit any place around the world, which place would it be? Pre-COVID, I suppose.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Really odd, but I'd like to go to Iceland one day.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, I see all the pictures of it. I'm like, man, I kind of want to go there and see it. I've been to Scotland a couple times. I still have some family that still live there. but mostly everybody's come here. But somewhere where I haven't been, I would definitely go to Iceland, I think.
So what does success for you mean right now?
What does it mean for me right now? Success is just, I think it's just doing something that you love and that you're interested in. Yeah, something that makes you happy.
What show are you currently watching?
We just started watching this. Have you heard of Cobra Kai? It's the sequel to yeah,
Yes.
Karate Kid. Super campy and like with 80s music and everything and all that stuff. But I don't know why it's so addicting.
Okay, I was wondering if I should watch that or not.
Yeah, me too.
There's like 2 seasons on it. Right
Yeah,
now?
it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
now,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a web series.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, on
actually.
YouTube. Yeah.
I got to get on that. I think I love the original movies.
Yeah, it has the original actors, so you might like it.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Just know it's super campy, so
Love it.
it's perfect. Yeah.
What is an artist that you've been currently listening to a lot?
Whatever my wife puts on. She's really into like the country music stuff, so I don't even know the names of the artists. I'm like, hey, I like this song. Well, we can keep this one on. So I can't give you a direct answer for that. Because I don't even know the names of the people that are singing.
That's fair. What is a book that you've read recently or currently reading that you would recommend?
So I have a good book. I haven't read it recently. It's been a good 5 years or so. If you ever heard of this book called The Hot Zone, it's probably the scariest book I've ever read, but it's real life. And I think it even, it kind of comes into effect with today with the whole pandemic thing. So this book is about the Ebola virus, its origins, and a possible outbreak that occurred here in the United States in Reston, Virginia, I believe, where it was at the CDC. Might have been the CDC headquarters. It's definitely a really good book. A lot of sciencey stuff in it, a lot of biology stuff, and a new book I'm reading is called The Looming Tower, and that has to do with pre 9/11 events.
Thank you so much, Alex. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know where they could connect with you and any upcoming projects?
Maybe you guys could share it. My email, acarmichael013@gmail.com. I don't mind you guys sharing that if anybody has questions or wants to learn more about what clinical laboratory science is and how you can take that pathway to get here. I don't really have any upcoming projects besides just work on the house here and there. Nothing to do with work, really. I guess that would have been a good hobby to mention, too. That's kind of become something that I've started transforming the backyard a little bit. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For your animals, right?
Yeah, keep them busy, yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Did you enjoy this episode? If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Glendale Library Arts and Culture channel.
Tune in every Friday at 4:30 for Teen Gen Talks. And if you would like to contact us and be part of the Teen Gen Talks, please email us at teengentalks@glendaleca.gov. Thank you. See you next episode.
Bye.
Bye.